Yeah, it's crazy, it's sad, and it's bad. That I really don't give a damn. And I'm late, and they're mad. But I really don't give a damn, 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 damn.
How you doing now?
Because I was talking to him.
In your headspace.
I'm actually I'm doing pretty good. Fucking wonderful.
What do you attribute that to?
You're fucking Mr.
Masturbation.
Wonderful?
No, I'm doing great. Honestly, the comedy comeback. So, one of the cool things, three things kind of led to that. I took care of myself. The big one was I took that time off, took care of myself, and it was just like, listen, I don't care what the fuck happens, how broke I am, I come first. Like, fuck. And sorry, I know we're all being funny and shit like that. This is the one time I'm gonna get
that's
serious.
the
All right, we'll cut this out.
No, this is where we go.
But
Everywhere.
It was rough, and I took care of myself. I was like, I had to find a reason for me to be alive that wasn't being in front of people again, because I wasn't even going out doing karaoke shit like that, because my friends I did that with were all in the comedy community, so I wasn't doing anything like that.
Right.
I had to find a reason that I was like, what do I exist for? Like, I'm not doing music anymore. I'm not doing podcasting. I'm not doing comedy anymore. Right. I'm like, what do I have? Like, what am I about? And so I tried to discover myself. I tried to find hobbies. Didn't really work. I just ended up, watching a lot of Netflix. And, but I ended up getting back a really strong, I got back into steel work. I used to work like mill and labor and machine operating work. I got out of that when I moved down here. I got back into that, and that kind of gave me, I hate that. I hate working hard. Don't get me wrong. I'm a hard worker, but I hate working hard. But it kind of was like, okay, I am a hard worker. I'm not as lazy as I thought I'd gotten. I just got back into work, got more trying to be like a person that's not just an entertainer. So I started.
Do you think that was like comfort? Like going back to steel, was it kind of like reminding you like, hey, this is where
Or the
you came
routine.
from? Like this is
More the routine.
Okay.
Because I got back to where I wasn't staying out late getting drunk and fucked up all the time. That was a big thing. I cut back drinking. I haven't quit drinking. I'm not crazy, but I cut back drinking heavily. That was a big one. I just I figured out how to live kind of live on my own again. And I also too I started dating this fine ass Latina girl that I was in love with. I wanted to put a fucking baby in her, and she was 10 years older than me, right? Fine as hell. Wanted to put a baby in her. Like we were talking about having a baby. She moved in with me, had to boot her out. So that kind of reinvigorated me to I'm like, okay, so I still have
I could pull a baddie. I'm all right.
Yeah, I know that got me better. I was like, okay, even though she was crazy and fucking made me hate my life coming home, I'm like, I can do that. The comedy thing.
At least you got to fuck her, right?
Oh, I can't.
What's her name?
That I'm not saying.
Oh man, I love her. Can I?
Mainly because of the court order. But no. But the things that helped. So I just randomly decided one day I was like, okay, I don't hate comedy anymore, because I started hating comedy. I got so tired
Were you
of
hating
comedy.
yourself? Like your jokes? Was it yourself? Like your set that you started getting like maybe tired of?
No. You know what it was? It was the crowd. It was the comedians in the crowd. It was literally everyone but
Was
me.
it bad comics?
A lot of it.
They make you hate it.
I mean, bad comics, even good comics, maybe. I think what it was is I felt so pressured, and I was like, and then people that were telling me, it's like, they're telling me like, you won't mean nothing until you do this for 10 years. Or people trying to give me advice, like not taking me seriously, but then trying to give me advice after I just watched them bomb on fucking stage.
Right.
And they're like, and then people are like, you got to respect them. That's blah, 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 blah. They've been doing this for 8 years. And I'm like, well, that's 8 years of them not doing a goddamn fucking thing, because I just watched them, and like, I'm like, they're not funny. And I'm not saying like, people do your thing. If you like
it
doing
could
comedy,
be them working
do your
it
thing.
out. It could be them working shit that they've never done before too. But you're right. I mean, you could do it for 15 years and still suck.
Yeah, that's what, and I hate that people come up to be like, you don't know what you're doing yet. I'm like, well, actually, I don't know necessarily maybe
the fundamentals,
the joke part. Yeah, but I'm like,
right.
I know how to market. Like, I'm not gonna say fully market. I know how to start off doing like the first shit you do when you're early on. I know all that with marketing your shit, networking, getting your shit out. I did that with music. I'm like, I did all that. I know how to get fans and shit like that, or fans, friends, supporters. I'm like, I know how to get those without money. Now, money helps evidently, but I know how to do it without having, disposable. What do you call that? Disposable income. Well, yeah, disposable income towards it. So like, I know how to do all this. I'm like, and then because people were hitting me up, this is another thing that pissed me off. People, I was cool. It's one of those disrespectful things, like somebody asking you like, imagine like somebody come up to pregnant or to a woman and being like, oh, like when are you expecting? And they're not expecting a baby.
Dude, how many times has that happened to you?
No, not
More time than I can count. It's
Right?
not even.
But it was kind of but comedians.
Damn, you got quadruplets? Congrats. 4 times. Awesome.
But I had
Fucking
comedians.
Nick Cannon get you pregnant?
God damn.
Who doesn't get pregnant?
Back to your depression.
Enough about housekeeping.
No.
So when you were building up the nerve to get on stage, did it take a while? Or no, you said
No, I
like you were
jumped like hey, somebody like a fucking almost like a dare. Like I was just like 2 breaths and I'm in. Like
What advice would you give to somebody who can't build up the nerve to just put themselves on stage? Like they're funny, they just don't know the joke writing process, right? And that might be a big hurdle as somebody who wants to start out because they know they're funny, but they've never done comedy.
Like me.
I'm 100%. The joke writing process is
it's excruciating.
right.
It's, not that I'm not one to give advice. I am way too new, but I will say for getting in front of people, especially if you know you can be funny. First part, write shit down.
I have no problem getting in front of people. I've done music most of my life.
Right.
I've actually done jokes like when like a DJ fucks up and they're not ready. I've done jokes on stage before.
Well,
So,
shit, you're already
It's the actual
doing more than most
It's
comedians.
having a set. Like,
yeah, it's having a set. That's the thing that drives me back. It's like, man, like I don't feel right writing jokes. I'm more funny like.
So
like
are
in this
there
kind of
open
situation.
mics that do like bottom of the barrel type shit where like there's just subjects in a barrel or a bucket or something, and then it's an open mic. So you're an open micer. You don't have material. You never written a joke in your life, but you're a riffer, right?
So shit like that I've heard stuff like that. I think is in Austin. We don't. I haven't seen that in San Antonio. I've seen improv group. There's an improv group I think in San Antonio that does shit like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think you want to go the improv route.
Nah, I don't want to do improv.
No,
either.
yeah, but
he's
that's
not an
But
kinda,
if I could fucking just fuck with people, I'm cool with that.
Crowd work, yeah, do crowd work.
Yeah.
shit,
And
you'd
then
be a
that's
great
what you
MC
can do.
host, and that's one thing, and that's one thing I'm terrible at. I could.
Is that a good way to get in
Maybe,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
to get started as
host-
a comedian?
I think if you can be a good host, because for one,
Right.
you're the icebreaker. If you can break
Yeah.
the fucking ice, if you can keep people going when people come up and like, if somebody kills the room, if you can bring that shit back up, and if it doesn't even have to be necessarily making them laugh their ass off, if you can just get people's energies, like fucking sing it. If you can sing, rap, fucking fuck with people, like you see a lady in the crowd, make fun of her hair or something. Like if you can keep that going, I think we need more of those because I can't do shit like that.
Have you ever killed a crowd for a headliner?
No, but I'll tell you what. Actually,
Last night.
define a headliner.
Well, whatever, right? But you're
Yeah. You
Like-
didn't
The
hear,
last
he
person-
went through depression, bud. She left him.
Yeah. So
not even a headliner, but like the last person on the fucking
no,
thing.
I did it. So the
You're
one show, it's
the
actually
first.
on video, and the only comedy show that the Amp Room has ever done, right across from Paper Tiger. Their only comedy show they've ever done, which is pretty cool because what's his face from Metallica was there a week later.
shit. Lars?
The bassist from Suicidal Tendencies.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Robert Trujillo. Robert
Yeah.
Trujillo was there. He's watching his son's band. So I was like, oh shit, I just performed on stage and he's chilling there. But
Yeah, that's
I did the
crazy.
show on Halloween, actual Halloween. I did a couple Halloween shows on actual Halloween at the Amp Room.
touching children.
And not dressed up. No,
Was
that
that
was
the same one?
No, different one.
Oh, my bad.
That was the couple days before on the weekend. This one was on like on Monday, and it's hopping people out in costumes. And I was told the guy who threw it is this British dude, and he goes, I can't do a British accent. He goes, hey, I want your most fucked up jokes. That's my attempt at a British accent.
Italian.
I want
Fish
your
and
most
fucking
fucked up
chips.
jokes.
Say, get the fuck out of here, you know.
Hey, yo, I want your fucking chips. Get out of here.
I got my
How
touches.
about the footballers, soccer? But no. So this motherfucker, he says he
He
wants
went to Boston.
He went from fucking Brooklyn to Boston.
I'm laughing, but I can't do it. Can you do your best?
fucking mocky mock.
Can you do your best British accent?
Top of the morning, governor.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
That's scary, bro.
Cheerio, chap.
I've watched a lot of British TV.
God save the fucking queen.
God fucking save
I'm
the
not
queen,
even going
man.
Hold on, let me channel. That's where I got my Irish accent down cold.
Oh,
From
shit.
from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, top of the morning to your bro.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? I can't
Yeah.
do it. That was close.
He went back. He went up to Italian.
Jackson, come here.
I try to do that. That's actually a bit I used to do because it started as a joke at work or at a job I did. I tried to make fun of this Russian girl. I'm good friends with her. She's Romanian.
Was it the Ukrainian girl?
No, different one. But this Russian girl I worked with, and I
You
came
just love
up.
Eastern Europe, don't you?
Oh, I do.
She turned out to be Italian.
And so
Turned out to
I'm
be a
like,
spy.
I was like, bro, I just saw.
"Das
blah, blah, blah,
Vidania."
go talk to the boss, and she goes, hey, wait, can I come back to fucking work? And they're like, are you doing a Brooklyn accent from the Russian girl? And I was like, wait, I wasn't doing a Russian accent. And it turned into a long running joke that like we're doing like it just kept going with it.
Hey, do a Mexican.
We are going to.
Hey, I'm fucking Mexican. Let's go to la Ciudad de Mexico.
Hey, I'm
you
half
piece of
Mexican,
shit.
half Italian.
That was more
How's the
Mexican.
You
gabagool?
fucking gringo. Fuck out of here. Fucking gringo.
Crying, bro.
That's hilarious. What were we talking about?
Oh, no. Oh,
where
the
you
Halloween
go to-
show. The Halloween show. So I went second. I went second at this Halloween show.
Oh yeah, killing a show. Shit.
Yeah, the one time you'll ever say I killed, like, because I actually killed the crowd. I was only supposed to go for 10 minutes. Ended up, the British guy goes, he says, I'm not going to light anybody. Go for 10, but if you feel it, keep going. I went fucking 20 minutes. And everyone, they kept fucking, they're laughing, they're dying. I'm telling the most fucked up joke. I'm telling my Casey Anthony shit, I'm telling all my jokes. And then finally I'm like, oh shit, I should probably get off the stage. I'm only second. And we got like 5 more comedians left.
Shit.
It's a Monday night. Everybody's drunk. No one wants to be here. As soon as I get off the stage, everyone fucking left.
Oh,
swear to
so you
God.
killed it because they were like, damn, that was good.
They were like, oh, we're getting there. We're going to the next bar.
Hey, well, I'm never
And
booking this car again.
the headliner of that night,
let's get out of here.
The headliner
never
of the
mind.
night was this.
Forget about it.
Was this comedian who she takes her comedy very seriously, and she
She takes her comedy serious.
no, listen. So she's like, somebody videotaped it, and I told her like, hey, they got it recorded if you want to look at it later, and she popped off on me for it. She's like, how dare somebody record me on that? Do you think I want people to know that happened? What it is she tried picking on an audience member to do part of her bit, and what it was is it was a dude, and
He was in a wheelchair.
The dude's fiance wasn't having it. And so instead of shutting it down and moving on, she just kept prying. And that's one of those things in comedy. If an audience member ain't feeling it, move the fuck on. Like, don't fucking, when somebody's like, I don't want to talk to you, move the fuck on. Don't pry at them, because it's the most cringiest shit. And I've seen so many comedians do it, and it's not funny. And she did that, didn't get a single laugh the whole fucking night. All of us were watching, we're like, oh fuck.
Oh,
Like,
she
this
didn't
is
like that she
bad.
was recording.
It was like fucking.
Yeah,
cringe.
she didn't know she was recorded at the time, but nobody has the video. But it was just like, but I felt bad because I'm like, you guys would have had a crowd here. Not that the first comedian had any less. The first comedian went before me, does shows all the time, and like I thought, okay, this is gonna be a rough crowd. I get up there, crowd goes ecstatic, like they're dying laughing. So I'm like, and then it died after I left. So I'm like, so the crowd didn't need warmed up. They were all drunk and warmed up. They just left afterward, and I felt bad that I went on too long and they all left.
Have you ever told a joke that walked people though?
Yes.
What was it?
Go on.
Do you want me to tell the joke?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's horrible.
All right, so
I mean, I walk.
I'm all
Get out.
fuck out.
Thank you for coming, Mase the Comedian.
All right, that was the BFR podcast.
All right, let's play them off with some music.
Talking
all
about
right.
mini episodes, right?
All right, I'm gonna do
On the
it. So,
Patreon.
Roe v. Wade was overturned last year, and it helped me come to a realization. Casey Anthony is actually a future civil rights icon. Did that at the world's oldest, or the oldest VFW in Texas.
Oh no!
And a dude got up, looked at me. Crowd was doing great. It was all a bunch of like 70, 80-year-old Mexican-American war veterans. And I'm talking about banging Army girls because that's the only thing I could relate to them with. I'm like, because none of my jokes would work. And I was like, oh, I'll do part of my set. And at the end of it, I did that joke. And a dude got up and goes, that's not fucking funny, man. And then storms out the fucking building.
Is that how he said it? Or
It's not that fucking funny, man.
That's not fucking funny, man.
hey, wait, that's not fucking funny.
Keep my wife's name.
Yeah, it would. So that walked somebody. Other than that, yeah, I've never really walked people. Usually people walk out before I go up.
So how do you feel when they don't laugh? Does it affect you?
I feel fuck you, you piece of no. If they don't laugh, usually it's the comedian. So I got used to that with the comedians. I've learned a lot of the comedians to do not listen or do not care for your jokes. So they will not. Oh, they don't. They to each other, to everybody else. They support, but they don't. A lot of them don't laugh. There are some that do, and you can hear their laughs in the video. You'll know who it is when you meet them. You start recognizing their laugh.
Yeah.
But a lot of them don't give a fuck.
I mean, but do you think it's maybe because they don't want you to think that you're better than them and they want to feel like, or do you think it's just because they just don't find it funny?
I think there's multiple reasons. I think it's kind of like I'm sure there's probably an aspect for there's some people that are like it's kind of like don't clap when you land an airplane kind of thing, like it is
right.
We're not gonna I'm not gonna laugh at something I do for art or for my career. If some people unfortunately do that as a full-time career.
Unfortunately, I want to do that.
I say unfortunately people that I'm doing shows with. I'm not talking about somebody's got Netflix specials, okay.
Yeah, if you're up and coming, you haven't made it yet, and it's your full-time gig.
Yeah, that sucks. Not that I have done a show with people where I've done one or two shows with people who've done like big specials and shit, but everyone else, if that's your full-time job, you're not making a lot of money. I see the money.
What's the biggest act you've done a show with?
Technically it's not a tie, but I am going to put it as a tie just in my mind. First one was Luz Pasos, which the name might not ring too much of a bell, but she's on HBO Max. She was on that like Comedy Chingonas. I did a show.
Damn, he didn't sound Italian there.
Fucking comedy. No, but so I did a show. I did the one time I performed at Laugh Aloud Comedy Club in the background. That's her.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Right? Yeah.
Do you know how we can get in touch and get her on the show?
You got to actually. her boyfriend's Italian.
All right, she's fucking ugly, dude. So anybody else she's not even famous. Who else?
The other most famous one would be Casey Rowland, which that's not a name you'll know probably for another couple years, but he won famous funniest dude in Austin.
Oh, Casey Rocket.
Yeah, Casey Rocket.
Oh,
okay,
shit.
Yeah, I did
a show with Casey Rocket?
I did. Hilarious fucking dude.
Bro, that guy is a fucking like Robin Williams type of funny man.
He dresses like an old woman.
No, man. His antics.
Pretends he's a doctor?
Bro, he's nuts funny.
His delivery.
But
he's a genie?
so I did the show in Austin, right down the street.
He can hang.
He's a grown-up
That's
Peter
what I'm
Pan?
saying.
I did the show in Austin.
Oh, is that bad?
Wait, what?
He didn't like it.
I didn't like it, man. I love Robin Williams.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah.
What were you saying? I'm sorry.
Oh, no. It was so it was at right down the road from Creek in the Cave, which I've done an open mic at Creek in the Cave that I signed up 2 weeks in advance for, and they told me they told me I wasn't on. They said you're too they cool guide me. They're like, sorry, like you didn't make the list. And then I show up, my friend Michelle Cantu, and I'm on the fucking list. And I'm like, what the fuck?
What?
And it's all like everyone who was performing was people from like all over the fucking country, right? Like how like kind of like Kill Tony and Comedy Mothership was. I'm like, who are all these fucking people? Like dudes from Minnesota, people who tour around from back home where I'm from. They're like, yeah, I'm traveling through, signed up for this. And I had a great fucking time. Creek in the Cave was great. And Casey Rocket, that's like his home place, I guess. But we performed literally a block away at a place called Ladybird.
Yeah. Oh.
I was stoked for it because we're at Austin. I'm doing this place, Ladybird. I'm stoked because it's comedians from like Dallas, comedians from Corpus Christi, and then me and another comedian from San Antonio, and then a couple from Austin. And I'm like, this is going to be great. No, because the booker booked Casey Rowland on his third show of the night inside Austin. We were the last stop.
Oh, shit.
I was pissed when I found that. I didn't know that till I got there. I didn't know he was doing 3 shows on the same block. And I'm like, would you, if you're throwing a show and you have a band playing, you don't book a band that's playing 2 shows that same day at your next door neighbor, both your next door neighbor's house. I'm like, you're not going to draw anybody. Nobody's going to come.
Yeah,
it's on a weeknight. This isn't the weekend where people are partying. It's a weeknight, and so people didn't show. And the only people that did show were people I drugged from outside that ended up leaving. I kept getting pushed back and back. Don't worry, I'll give you a good spot. I don't want a good spot. I want to go with the people I brought in from outside. I tried to go, but they ended up walking out after the first act.
Damn.
I mean, they laughed at some jokes, but like they're like, we got stuff to do. But yeah, so I did that. Casey Rowland would probably be the Casey Rocket.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, Casey Rocket is the. Other than that, man,
funny.
not to be a dick about comedians. I didn't know Texas when I moved down here. I didn't know, and that's what people are like. Oh, I'm doing. This person's great. This person's famous. I
Right.
never fucking heard. And I tell them they're like, you need to. I don't know these people, man.
Yeah.
Like when I got into comedy, I'm like, I know, famous comedians.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, like I don't know these.
That's how we feel when you said Dos Passos.
Yeah, no, exactly. I didn't.
Okay, let's
She's
check
hot.
out Casey Rocket.
I hope so.
Montgomery.
Jesus.
What you're about to see is truly a guy who, well, right now, working a door shift right now, is truly going to continuously never stop moving up in the comedy game. And you're going to remember that you were at this show the night that you saw him, perhaps for the very first time. You may know him already, a local legend. Ladies and gentlemen, Casey Rocket.
Oh, I never made it as a wise man. Get real traps. Yeah, come on. Fastest guy in the room. Who gives a shit? Come on now. Got to keep moving, fellas. Putin's trying to triangulate my position right now. Get lost. Come on now. Up, packet of Parmesan. Okay, we're having fun. Who's with me, guys, huh? Get real. I'm doing an hour and a half. Who gives a fuck? We're closing it down. Fucking pranked your ass. Come on, man. Damn, a roast comic and a prop comic? What is this? The worst shit you've ever fucking seen? Come on. Goddamn, Putin hates this motherfucker. He can't stand me, boys, I'll tell you. Hey, Putin, I got 5 words for you, sweetie. Never made it as a wise man. Is up here riffing our hearts out, boys. Come on now. I won't lie to you, folks. I got 6 more harmonicas hidden around the room here tonight. In 6 minutes, the room will start filling with water. You have 6 minutes to find the remaining harmonicas. You didn't think the crab was bluffing, did you? No.
What's up with this dude, bro?
Dude, he's like,
Yeah, I used
like
to prank
if
myself
Robitussin
all the
was a
time
person,
in college. It was called what? Taking Xanax. Who's with me, boys, huh? I was like, hey, Casey, hear me out. I know you got an 8 a.m., but what if you woke up in jail? Okay. Never made it as a wise man. Come on. I've had a lot of weird jobs in my life. I used to strip copper off Malaysian Flight 370.
I never heard that.
Before it took off. That's on me. Scientists can't stand me. I just got diagnosed with reverse Benjamin Button's disease last week. That's where I age normally, but I what? Still have the penis of a baby. Okay. Guys, the Stuart Little stuff's working. Come on, not Stuart Little. Hey, I got some for you. Picture of Grimace during the fall.
He carries several pictures of Grimace.
And dude, he like tears him across the weight, somehow comes up with more, bro.
Like, he has endless fucking copies of pictures of
Yeah,
Grimace.
He did
on
one
it.
of
Pass it around.
Grimace
Everybody
at the
take a peek
Dave
at.
Taylor and Hart wreck.
Everybody gets
That was the one scene I died, dude. I fell out my fucking chair. He did that in front of 5 people.
Grimace at the fall of Berlin. Guys up front. I come from old money. I got hundreds of these things. I got briefcases full of shit like that. You would not believe it. Fucking Biden's pissed. Trust me. I come from old money. My dad was that paperclip on Microsoft Word. I don't even need to be here today. Talking about how can I help you? For starters, he could have drove me to football practice. Drunk bastard. But that was Dad. That was Dad. I'm gonna Blair Witch this set. Never what, never who, what, wise man. Nights like these, I always think about my grandpa, folks. When I was a kid, my grandpa used to always sit down, and he used to always give me the best advice. He used to always sit me down and go. That was grandpa. You know? He was almost completely nonverbal. You know, it's just the way it was. And when he did talk, it was always about industrial society and its future, you know, but that was Grandpa. He was a Unabomber, you know what I mean? Since the 90s, you could Unabomb back then, okay? Here's the thing about taking pills, folks.
That's fucking great.
He's dude, but so he performed here in San Antonio right before that show. He came down and performed. My buddy Tony Bain threw a show, and Casey Rowland performed the week before I did the show with him in Austin. And this motherfucker, I just performed at that place. It's actually right up the road, fucking on Culebra, the Corner Tap. So we did a comedy show. They got a little like stand up thing. It's cool, fun show. But he performed there, right? He apparently pissed off a lot. He ripped the fucking mic out of like it's a corded mic. Ripped it, not just like unplugged it. Ripped that shit. Dude, just fucking ripped it out. Had to do it fucking acoustic, do a set. And like everybody there, I guess, didn't know what to expect with this. We're talking people had brought their kids and shit. And they're like, and people are there to drink craft beer, and the other people brought their kids. And I apparently it was Tony Bain said he loved it, but I guess everybody else just like we'll take the tab. You know, like they were weird. Yeah, they thought he was a homeless guy that walked in. They didn't realize he was the headlining comic. They thought he was a homeless dude asking for money. But
I think that speaks to what they were talking about on the last podcast. It's kind of like you got to know your audience. You got to know, you know. But when you're an up and comer, at the same time, it's like they're gonna book me. They're gonna book me. I'm gonna fucking go and do it. I don't give a fuck about the crowd. I'm gonna do my set.
Yeah, and but he had booked that before he won Funniest Person in Austin. So this is before he even did Comedy Store. I think it was right. I don't know if this was before or after Kill Tony, but he wasn't like, this is right, like, but he still did the show, which is pretty cool. But like, after that, like, I'm sure he could have probably dropped that show. Like I said, he's getting demanded everywhere across the country. So if this man doesn't overdose in the next 10 years, he's going to be the next fucking, I see him being, who's a funny, he's the next Bill Burr. I'm like, who's a funny white guy?
Yeah, but even not Bill Burr, because Bill Burr's more like angry comedy.
No, not. I just mean
but I'm telling you, like he has a Robin Williams quality to him, right?
It's that energy.
Yeah, his ability to just fucking shift and his energy and just the confidence. Like that's a testimony to confidence on stage, right? And I'm sure he's nervous as fuck, but that's nervous energy he's working out too. All the dancing I do on karaoke is part nervous energy, but it just comes off as just straight comedic confidence, right? Yeah. And that makes it funny in itself, because if he was standing there saying the shit he was saying right there,
wouldn't work.
It would be like, what is this dude doing?
And
like,
that's the thing.
Weird.
It's hard to tell. Like either he is so well rehearsed on how he does his movements, because those movements he does to like that circling around, he does when he, like every show he does it in the same style, does the joke. Oh, so really? Either it's rehearsed or that man has some sort of fucking disorder that we have not discovered yet that makes him do that shit.
It is a combination of a few.
I'm about to say, whatever it is, it works.
It works.
And I don't say that about many people. That's one thing I've said. I'm a dick. I was like, I don't think most people are funny. To show them he's fucking. We had 5 people in that place, and he had us all falling out of our chairs. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm like, it's one of those where I was like, yeah.
What did they say last week? If it niches.
Yeah, niches make riches. Yeah. And that's a niche right there, right?
Oh, okay. So I was like.
Yeah, niches make riches.
You said we can't say that word.
Gentlemen make riches.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like Fluffy, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He had to lean into that niche. He had to lean into his little persona. And sometimes, like I was saying, sometimes that feels cheap, because it's like, that's easy, man. I'm gonna lean into that because I'm fat. I'm not, but he is. Yeah. But like,
like, no, I get that. It feels cheap. But
I'm just gonna break down one podcast and fucking start bawling.
Stop calling me fat. I'm working on it.
He's just gonna Chris Benoit everybody one day, just fine.
Bro, if he does it on the podcast, I'll still produce it.
You will be so big
because you're not my wife and kid.
Yeah, we're not your wife and kid. We're gonna be all right.
Yeah, I would still produce it. Yeah. Like if he came and fucking been like, dude, that's the last time you called me fat. Like Dane Cook's joke is like, if I was gonna commit suicide, I'd go in the fucking middle of the airport and be like, all right, who fucking farted? And just fucking blow my head off. And like,
Schwarzenegger.
who the fuck farted? Oh, yeah,
It was
Schwarzenegger.
Nick
I was about to say
Schwarzenegger.
that.
But remember last time I said Nick Schwarzenegger had a lot of fucking
Dane Cook.
qualities. So there you go. That's why he didn't get big. Dane Cook took his.
I like Schwarzenegger though.
He's funny.
This shit was funny though. If I farted in a fucking.
How do you?
I get him into what's his name into. Oh no, Nick Swartzen. I was getting him confused with
Dane Cook.
No, I was getting who the fuck is that? That not Dimitri Martin.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say Dimitri Martin, but
It's him and then the dude Jason Schwartzman is who I was.
Oh, yeah.
That's who I thought you were talking about. And I was like, oh, I can't tell the difference between him and Dimitri, whatever the fuck his name is. But no,
But how you go about writing a joke?
so mine usually come to me kind of like honestly in the car. Like my first, I wrote before I did my first my first open mic I ever did. I wrote down maybe 5 jokes. Did one open mic. Like I got 2 laughs at the beginning, which is usually if I get the first 2 laughs, I'm like, okay, I got them.
Yeah.
I know that now. I didn't have that in my first few open mics, but I hit open mics like 5 nights a fucking week. In time I got off work. My writing jokes came from like just kind of like I'm imagining I'm telling Imagine I'm telling a scary story and I don't want you, or a thriller, and I don't want you to guess the ending until I got there. And that's how I started writing all my jokes. I'm like, I'm going to start it off with a topic.
Right.
I don't want you to, and I have a couple jokes that you can guess the
Yeah,
punchline.
you see where it's going.
You can see where it's going, but they fit in. I like the jokes.
Right.
But most of them, they're one of those like like dead girlfriend, like
Right.
Casey Anthony for the abortion thing. You think I'm going to talk about, like abortion. No, I'm talking about Casey. I like shit that just hits you from left field, and I wanted to shock and all. So I just think about that. I'm like, what would shock? What would seem so like off the wall, but still be funny and relatable? And I think about it, and it's usually me scribbling shit, and then me realizing, nope, somebody already said it, and scribbling it, and then me looking up, making sure nobody already made that joke. Did a lot of that.
That's what I like about Jeselnik, because when I watch him, I try to guess where he's going
and it just
because it's you're always wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, okay, this is what I would say, and then
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
boom.
Those are fun when they sneak up. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's my big, and he
He
was
has
my
a-
biggest inspiration.
The abortion clinic. I think he has an abortion clinic.
Yeah.
One that was fucking great.
Do you write it down? Like once it pops in your head, are you just repeating that premise to yourself? Like, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. Or do you write it down like, okay, so I'm going to remember this, at least this part. And then
I
build on it?
text it actually. So I never have pen, and I carry. It's funny. I have actually. I don't know why I brought it, but I have my joke notebook as well as my set list notebook sitting in the car. And what I do is usually I'm driving when I think of this shit, and I'm bad. I text and drive. But I text usually my sister in Brooklyn, or I'll text my friend, the comedian Devin.
Your
I'll text
sister lives in Brooklyn. Can you do an impersonation of your sister in Brooklyn?
Hey, I'm Mace's sister. Fucking Brooklyn. No, that's where I should have done a British accent. No, I should have done like, hello, Tom. I'm from fucking Brooklyn. Like, fuck.
Cool. I'm gonna cut out the Brooklyn. You go straight into that.
Like, hello, I'm Mace's sister. Would you like some what the fuck I did again? Would you like some New York pizza?
Would you like some tea?
Some tea and some pizza. No, but I
Or some
text
shrimp on
I'm
the
like,
barbie.
yo,
Oh,
I'm
wrong
like,
way.
joke
That's
idea.
Australia.
I know.
So I'm usually in traffic, and I'm like, here, joke idea to save this for later, and then I'll go home and write it down.
What do you on Notepad or
No, I send it to text. Oh, you mean write it at
who are
home?
you sending it to?
My sister or Dev. I'll send it to one of the two. It's like
Oh.
it's like kind of like my way of remembering, and then I'm like, hey, like, can you like forward me that joke thing I sent you, or what was that about? And they'll shoot it back to me.
Weird.
Yeah, I just bounce it off of them
Because it feels different putting it on a notepad.
yeah, once you put it on a notepad, it's because so jokes when you first think of them, they're like, oh shit, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Then instead
Yeah.
of writing it right to notepad, because once you put it on a notepad, that's when you're kind of like, is this that funny?
Ah.
I shoot it by
Yeah.
somebody. It's my way of somebody telling me it's bad before I write it down. So that
That's
way,
how I felt about my joke I wrote the other day.
It wasn't a bad joke.
That was my first joke I ever wrote.
That was the one that you were going to take to be your opener, and you didn't
Yeah.
even know your.
But you're not. What are you gonna do? You gonna have a fucking banger? Your first joke you ever fucking tell on stage? No.
No, but I was
gonna
like, I didn't
write it.
feel right.
Do you remember the first joke you ever told on stage?
yes.
How bad was it?
Um,
Or how good was it?
So my first joke, I'll say the first thing I ever said on stage. No, yeah, my first joke was shit. What was it? It was.
Do you remember the first joke you told on stage?
Well, because I'm like,
kidding.
well, shit. There was.
with you.
I did. I told. Yeah. It was. I used it if I do longer sets and I'm like fucking around. I think I throw it in. What's the hardest? No, that wasn't a first. It was a second joke, but I'm going to tell it anyway. What's the hardest part about eating a vegetable?
What?
She can't tell you when she's about to come. You're stupid like
She's
that.
a mute too.
She's
That's where you can. She's a mute too.
no, the first one
Punched
was.
up his joke.
I think the first one I'm pretty sure was fuck, dude, because I don't want to lie to myself and then find out on video somewhere and it's not. Pretty sure the first joke I told is still in my set, and I think it's the Mark McGuire joke. I do a Mark McGuire joke, and it's I think it's funny. It's supposed to look like I'm about to be racist.
Oh yeah, somebody called you Mark McGuire. Is it all the gentlemen were calling you Mark McGuire?
The
Asians?
Cuban. I mean, there's
Cubans.
gentlemen in
Was
Cuba.
it Cubans?
Yeah. So
It was the fucking Cubans.
the fucking Cubans. We got to get back at the Cubans. I'm British.
I can put that joke on it
On the.
right here. No, just on the
Oh.
episode.
So
Did
no.
he send you the content?
So
I
You got his OnlyFans?
play. So I did.
What? Wait, huh?
I actually no.
you
There's a Mark McGuire joke. I said it was performed at Chismosa's. I want you to play it just so I can tell you the story behind
Okay.
it. Just so I can tell you what. This was one of my favorite shows in the world.
Do I have to go to my Facebook DMs?
You might have to.
But back to me. Yeah,
Don't
so
look.
when I wrote
Or not. Or go to.
Don't look.
Actually, just go to
He looks real good.
just go to my Facebook, bro.
Go to your Facebook.
Just go to or Mase the Comedian. Look up Mase the Comedian. I did. It's
It's right here.
so there's the one that says my mother. Yeah, that one. That's not the. But play this one. It's funny. It's not the joke I was talking about, but this one's funnier. Just play it.
This one right here.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's funnier when I
But
tell you
this is the
story.
one you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I want
Okay.
to talk about this, and then I'll tell the Mark McGuire joke.
Okay.
There's a video of it. No, the reason I want to show this one is my
Okay.
mother flew in for the show, and I'm high on steroids at the show.
So I'm a big fan of pornography. I fucking love pornography. At least I did until yesterday. I saw my first gangbang video online. It was 5 black men, 1 white woman.
Your mom was in the crowd.
Disgusted. And the only thing I could respond with while I watched it was, "Mom, what the fuck?"
And they realized that she was there.
Yeah, and then somebody went, "Oh shit!" and fell on the back. So my mother flew down for this show.
Time at Thanksgiving.
My mother flew down for this show, and I almost had to cancel it. I came down. I'm sicker than a dog at this show. I'm sweating out the sickness.
shit.
So Devin, the comedian, is like, "I'm gonna bring you something." She brought me fucking like prescription strength steroids that like this shit was like. It wasn't even. It was like promethazine with extra like X's and shit. I don't know what the fuck it was, but like she's like, "Take this. Only take one, like you only need this much." I took like 7 times as much as I need to take because I'm sitting there. I'm sweating bullets. I'm dry heaving. I can't even eat, and I'm a big dude. I should be able to eat. I didn't want any alcohol, which is rare for me. If I turn down alcohol, which by the way, I would love another crown.
I would too.
Ditto.
I'll make them.
Well, go ahead, dude. You need to start putting in some work in this fucking
Why does our
podcast.
bartender quit after the first drink?
Because yeah,
Because
you don't have to drink.
Come on, let's go.
yeah, I'm cutting y'all off. I'm put a tip jar right here.
I'll tell more frat jokes.
Okay.
But just real quick, even better. So like, she gave me steroids. I didn't eat. I'm dying. I'm leaning over a table, dying, about to cancel the show. They call my name. I get up there, do this. I have to sit down, which everybody's like, "You don't sit down this early as a comedian." And I'm like, I can't stand up.
Thank
So people gave me shit. Can you make me one too?
He will.
I love you. You're awesome. But sitting next to my mother is her husband. She just married him like a month before this.
Oh.
And so I'm calling her a whore.
But,
and,
yeah.
and saying,
But
like,
why is that white guy sitting in between them?
Oh, that's even funnier. So
Right?
the black dude is her best friend.
Oh yeah, is he gonna watch this?
And I did used to. Oh, you ain't gotta watch
You
it.
did used to what?
I used to want them. I used to want them to
You
date and get
wanted-
married. I wanted a black
oh.
stepdad. Like,
Why?
he works for the CIA.
You wanted to see him walking around in his boxers?
He wanted to get stuck in a dryer for them.
But yeah,
Ooh, how long ago was that?
This was October.
You
It
lost
was-
weight?
Did I?
No?
No.
Oh, is it the shirt?
I think it's probably just a shirt, and I was sicker than a dog. This was actually no. This wasn't October. This was September. So this September, October, I did was when I do the LOL sets and shit I was telling you about. And I did plenty of shows in between. Just none of them were good enough to do really recordings. They're just like, it was funny, it was good, it was all right, you know. But that one, I just thought it was funny just because my mom flew in. And like this was my favorite show I ever did because of that. Because my mom came and saw me, and I got to call her a whore and a slut and a bunch of different names in front of her brand new husband. Yeah. And I had to sit down with my mother. Shit. Yeah, in front of her brand new husband, and I had to have sit down before it. I'm like, these are jokes. This is not how I really feel. Because she takes everything very literal.
Oh, she does.
She's one of those. She takes everything very literal, and I was like, I'm gonna talk about like my past that isn't true. I'm like, I'm gonna say things about you that are not true. I'm not your son. So I did that when I got up there, and I'm doing this like squeaky, but I'm like, Mom, I'm sorry. Like, these are jokes. Don't cancel me. And I just rolled with it. And I had the best crowd reaction I could have asked for, man, in this little comedy venue. She's mostly on the north side of town. Loved it.
Do you also have jokes that are based on your life? Actual events in your life?
I do.
Okay. I want to hear one, but the question that I had was, is there a difference in the reaction that you get with telling a joke like this, right? That didn't actually happen. You didn't see a porn video with your mom getting banged by a bunch of... That would have been awesome, though. I would have asked for the link. But versus one that truly happened to you, and you told that from the heart because you knew it happened to you. It just turned out to be a fucking joke. Is there a difference in the pop you get?
Yeah. The true stories don't get as much funny. So I got to twist them. So like the Russian, I don't know if I brought it up already. The Russian sex tape joke. That's a true story.
The Ukraine, yeah.
We talked about it earlier.
Yeah, right before they went to war.
Yeah, so that's true. That's
she alive still?
Yeah, oh yeah, she's alive. She's nice. Actually, I think she's engaged.
In war?
They were probably some Russian dude to get out. No.
Yes, that's gonna be a real.
A fucking Russian. You want to marry me?
I love this. But I told a joke about these kids in a hot dog costume coming up to my car, like getting pulled over by the cops, and these kids in hot dog costumes running up to my car after I just did a bunch of cocaine, and me being like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then me seeing them get arrested. Like literally legit, like I got pulled over. I see kids in the hot dog costumes come up to my car, talk to me, and say the weirdest shit ever. And then I drive down the road and see them getting arrested by cops.
Oh shit!
So like I told that story, didn't get any laughs, and I was like, I'm like, screw it, it's a real story.
But you got to rewrite it because it's funny. That's funny, right?
But it's unbelievable. That's the thing. It sounds like I wrote.
It sounds made up.
It sounds made up.
You're like, this is a true story though.
But it's true.
But
didn't get any laughs.
Are you reminding them? True story, guys.
I'm like. Guys,
true story.
I'm telling you, and I'm a comedian, so it's got to be true. You know, nobody believed it. Like nobody believes half the shit I say anyway. So I might as well just.
Did you told your friends before you did that joke, right? You ran it by them.
No.
No. Oh, okay.
No, this was I did that one of my first open mics, and because I was like, oh, you know, everybody's like, you know, my favorite comedians are they're storytellers that tell real stories.
Right.
And that's when after I heard that so many times, I was like, you know what? I hate those fucking comedians.
That's what you hear commonly, though. Like that, the ones that actually happen kind of come off like as the best stories. Bert Kreischer.
No,
the machine.
His is hilarious. But
you seen that story?
Dude, yeah, he's the only comedian who I've ever seen who can do like when you go see a band, you want or your favorite artist. If you go see Eminem, you want to see him do your favorite Eminem, you know, your favorite rap songs
over and over. Yeah.
Comedians, you don't want that. Bert Kreischer's the only comedian I've ever seen that people go there, tell us the machine joke again. Yep. And like legit. And so that's why I loved he ended, I think it was one of them. He goes, okay, he leaves and he comes back. Okay, so this is how I got involved in the Russian mob. And I'm like, I give him props because I'm like, you're the first comedian I've ever seen people jump for joy because you came back and told a joke that they already knew. They just want to see you do it in person, you know? Like, because jokes they're fun. They're good once.
Yes.
And I'm different. I can listen to Jeselnik's comedy 24/7, and you know I'll still love it, and still laugh like I did before.
Right.
Not as much as the first time, but I'll still listen to it. But comedy, it loses its luster after you've heard that joke, after he hits that pop. Bert Kreischer, he doesn't get that. People want to hear the fucking machine.
Yeah, when I first started going to stand-up comedy, like watching it, I didn't understand that. Like, man, I've seen this joke. Why the fuck are they doing it still? You know, you think that one time you saw it, that was the one time they did it. But
they do a whole tour
they just
shit on it.
Always do that joke because it hits and you never, like, I seen it before, but maybe fucking 50 people in the room hadn't seen it before and it still gets a pop. So I guess that's what it is like, as long as it's getting a pop, I'm going to keep it in my shit. But Yeah, but I mean, new material is hard to build up.
It is, and for me, it comes in waves or it doesn't come at all. So I get a bunch at once, or I have fucking writer's block. Actually, I want to go back to the storytelling thing.
Yeah.
I've been shitting on comedians saying I don't like a lot of local comedy. I do want to give props to the one, actually two. Devin's fucking hilarious. You guys will love her when she comes and does it. She's only been doing a little longer than me. The one comedian in San Antonio, and I will even say out of fucking Austin, way different than Casey Raga, but the one comedian out of San Antonio that can make that could headline a show, do an hour, riffing off of their fucking day every time, that kills headliners. She's the headline killer.
Who?
Michelle Cantu, the best comedian out of San Antonio, hands down. I don't give a fuck who shows up. I don't give a fuck what person says how famous they are. Watch her. If you've never seen Michelle Cantu, this woman, so the Luz Paso show, this is just a small example, and then I'm gonna move on to bigger ones, like to ones I guess are bigger here, for South Texas comedians. She did the Luz Paso show. They put her right before Luz Pasos because everybody they're like, yo, she's the best. Put her. She goes, okay, put her right before. She killed the crowd, and Luz Paso, it died. There was barely anything for Luz because Michelle fucking, in the short time she had, the 45 minutes Luz had, didn't do shit. Michelle did not even 10 minutes and just fucking sucked all the laughter. Like when I say sucked it, laughter out of the room, I mean, she was like, I'm going to kill all of you with my jokes, and people died laughing, didn't laugh much more, man. She does that at shows. She did that. And people tell me, dude, she's fucking hilarious. And she just riffs. She did it one time. She got drunk. I was working door at a show at Chismosas that she was headlining, and she had a work event drinking beer downtown, like German beer downtown or something. Came in lederhosen and shit. She's like, I came from a work event. This is not a gimmick. She legit got drunk at a hotel party at this work thing, and then came and did the show, riffed for 20 fucking minutes on what happened at the hotel, and made it like this was a written comedy gimmick. Because I even told her, I was like, because when I was sitting talking with her, she was sitting there writing shit down. She's like, oh, this is good, this is good. She was writing shit down. She was trying to remember from the hotel shit and just made it funny. And then she went on for another 30 minutes of her of just the shit she normally does, where she twists like everyday things into her jokes. She's fucking hilarious. She will be the biggest comedian out of San Antonio. And
which one is she?
Michelle Cantu.
She's right. Michelle Cantu comedy,
one.
dude. You can tell she has a Bean and Cheese Mess show. Bro, it's gonna be perfect.
Oh, on Instagram.
Bean on the Bean and Cheese Mess show.
Michelle Cantu is one of my favorite comedians. We went to the Creek. The only time I've ever gotten more laughs than her was in Austin, and we did Creek in the Cave together that I was telling you about. She got great amount of laughs. I just happened, I think, because there was it was mostly white. I'm not gonna lie, it's Austin, Texas. It was a lot of white people in the crowd, and they loved my fucked up humor for some reason.
Yeah.
They didn't laugh as
kids.
They didn't laugh as hard that time for her as they did me, and that was a first. And because it's not on fucking video, and I yelled at her for it, I was like, "How did you not record me?" She recorded later. I did another open mic at like that night, but I was like, it was a whole different Kill Tony style thing. But she didn't record my set. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, because she even was like, holy shit. And I loved it. I had a great night, but that's the only time in my life I've ever gotten a single like extra laughter more than her.
Well, who's worse? Who's the worst comedian in San Antonio?
You, because you haven't started.
No, there's about
That's
30,
inspirational.
40.
The worst comedian is the one that never tried.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, at least these guys are going up, Even if they're bad, at least they're going up, because it does take time to become good. Yes, we're naturally funny, but to get up there and still be funny. But also, I guess, dealing with not being funny on stage when you know that you're funny. You know what I mean? Like, I know I can make people laugh. I've been making people laugh all my fucking life. Yeah. And then you get on stage and you just can't make it happen because you don't know how to deliver. You've never done that fucking part of showbiz.
Or sometimes the environment, like sometimes you could be the funniest person in the world.
Right.
Sometimes the crowd will just not, it just won't be with you.
It's the same with karaoke, right?
Yeah, no, that's, I always, so I do karaoke. My first song I always do is Never Call Me By My Name, David Allan Coe.
Well, it was all
I could do. Keep from crying. And I'm not, and so I did that when I started moving to Texas. When I moved down to Texas, I started doing that because everyone, every fucking bar, no matter what race they are, if they're in Texas, they know that song and everybody shouts it back.
Right.
If I do that song and nobody yells it back, I'm like, okay, I'm singing for myself the whole night.
Yep.
Nobody's here to do, and I've had that happen.
Oh, that's what it is. right?
It's my way to test it. It's like my opener. It's my opener joke. Is the
Yeah.
crowd with me? No, they're not. Okay.
That's a great fucking mind frame to
Yeah.
have, because that's what I struggle with, right? Plot twist. I'm trying to get him to get on stage because I'm really trying to get into this shit, but I want him to do it first.
What?
But that's the
Well,
thing
you're
that
the
I think
funniest
about is
out of all this.
like validation is big, right? We all need validation. Some of us need it more than others. I think I need validation a whole lot, but that's what I wonder. Like, fuck, man, I don't want to go up there and hate comedy because I went up there and nobody fucking found me funny at all.
That's where because like I didn't hate comedy for that reason. I hated it just because I got burned out. But people will do that. You asked who the worst comedian in San Antonio is.
I did
I'm gonna
not.
use it.
I did.
Sorry, you did.
Don't blame me. I don't care.
So I'm gonna say it's not the people that never go up. Because I get not going up, being, I get,
A bitch,
not,
yeah.
I get not wanting to try it. I haven't tried skydiving because I'm afraid, but the worst ones are the ones who blame the crowd. Like, I'm funny and I know it, and they blame the crowd. To me, I'm one of those, not to say customer's always right, but like, the crowd is not the problem. Even if they're not with you, the crowd is not the problem. Like, and I've had that and I say this being a guy that I've attacked crowds before. I didn't like dive in the crowd and like punch me in the face.
Yeah.
I closed out a show for Devin. I was closing out. I don't want to call it the headliners. I only did 25 minutes, but I closed out a show for her. And she tells me this every time. She goes, "You have a great 15 minutes." Like, and if the crowd isn't completely silent, she's like, she said you go rogue, but I'm like, it's because if the crowd even lets out a word of like, if you're not paying attention to me, I popped, I get shit. I got shitty a few times. But people blame the crowd. Like, people are going there to enjoy. You don't go to comedy because, most 99.99% of people don't go to comedy because they want to compare themselves to other comedians. They go to comedy to have fun and laugh. I don't watch stand up at home because I'm trying to take notes from fucking Bill Burr and Andrew Santino. Yeah. I'm very set for how early I know what kind of comedy I do. I don't take notes from those people because they don't do the same type of comedy as me. I watch it because I want to laugh and I want to enjoy it. So there are people that will blame crowds, and it's the same thing with
Well, isn't it also just picking your crowd as well, right?
yeah, if you can, if you go, if you're gonna go try an open mic in let's say if you're not a very politically correct comedian, right? And you go to what's the most politically correct city in the world?
Washington, D.C. San Francisco.
Los Angeles.
I'd say L.A., San Francisco.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I would have said Austin until I actually performed there. No, it is not.
No.
It's actually
No,
very
it changed.
racist. It's very
Changed.
Oh, yeah.
racist.
It's good. It's awesome.
It's but yeah, say you're you're like a shot comic and you're not politically correct. You go to the most politically correct town and do a very politically correct progressive venue, and you're mad that people didn't laugh at your jokes and they're booing you. You kind of pick the crowd on that one.
Yeah.
Now you can't pick the crowd for open mics, really. It's usually a lot of other comedians and stuff like that. So it's gonna be random, it's gonna be a draw of the board. And it's hard to draw when you're not a famous comedian because you literally have to market yourself, which is good. Like being if you're a KJ or DJ and anything, that's a good way to meet people out at bars. That's what I try to do when I go out. I tell people, hey, by the way, if you ever get bored, I got this coming up. You want to see me do something? I try. That's my way. And I've brought more people to shows than I see. Michelle Cantu brings a lot of people, but like I've brought people to shows just by meeting them. Like, come see me, and people are showing up. I bring friends all the time. Because I want a crowd, and I know the other comedians most of the time ain't going to bring nobody. So,
Yeah. I know that loaded you up with a question. No. So what do you think about that? Having people there because you know that they like that chick was all for you that was recording, right? She was laughing before you even hit the punchline.
She laughed because she knew
knew what was coming.
She knew my mother was there, and she knew what was coming. And because my mother was there, because I told her, my mom's coming to the show.
Okay.
And so she started laughing because I said, I'm a big fan of pornography, and my mother's sitting 100 feet in front of me.
She knew what was coming up.
So she starts laughing. She's like, "Oh no!"
Okay, because to me it felt like, oh man, she's just trying to
hype up the crowd.
Right.
Like,
No.
That's
That's how
funny.
she laughs. When you meet her, she fucking laughs like that. She was
3 hours of
supportive, but
editing.
she laughs. But she
Wait,
laughs.
is that Devin?
yeah.
Yeah, that's her.
Oh, okay.
Talk to her about her
He
laugh.
said it while he was telling us.
I will.
You know,
so where'd you get your laugh from?
You know why you're gonna like her? Do you remember Dat Fan? Dat Fan
Oh, yeah,
won the
the
first
comedian?
season of Last Comic Standing. She pissed him. She got his attention, got booked on one of his shows down here, had like kind of laid out, he's like, I'm gonna help you, blah, blah, blah. They told her not to do a joke that I gave her a little jingle to it, like a little add-on to her. I was like, hey, do this at the end of it. And they told her, you are not to do that joke on stage when you're doing this. Dat fan and his whole crew told her that. Wow. She got up there, she texted me before that, and I was like, I can't not do that joke. She's like, I don't want somebody to censor me. And I was like, it's up to you. Like, if you do, like, if you know what's going to happen if you do the joke. If you don't do the joke, though, you might hate yourself. I'm like, it's up to you.
How did they know that she was going to tell that joke, though?
They knew it. They know her set.
That's why they hired her, because
because she's but they tell her not to do.
Got you. They heard the joke before and they were like, hey, we love your set, but we don't want
They're
you to
like,
do
you are not to do. It's about the KKK. They're like, you're not to do that joke.
Why? They were in the KKK?
Yeah, they just it's very PC. And so she literally goes up there like CB4, like, don't perform Sweat on My Ball. She's like, fuck it, does the joke.
Wow,
the
that's
crowd
a deep cut right there.
Loved it, dude. The crowd loved it. She pissed off all all Dat fans crew and all that. She didn't even get paid for the show. She had to walk the fuck out. Like she left because
after her set,
because the next comedian after her was Dat fans protege. Didn't get shit for laughs. Like ate the room, ate up the room for her.
So there's a little bit of bitterness in comedy then, huh?
Yeah.
No.
So they
that's what you're explaining. Like, the comedy scene in San Antonio kind of mirrors the actual comedy scene.
Yeah.
I thought that comedians stuck together and helped each other out.
No. I mean, there's a few like Devin is a close friend of mine. Her she backs me up. She's been kind of like one of my closest friends. And I love her to death. She's helped me through when I was going through that dark. She was one of the few that checked up on me. Michelle Cantu was one of my close friends. I kind of don't hang with her as much as I did before since I quit comedy. But yeah, there's a few that stick together.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things I point out. I learned that in the music industry.
Right.
Like,
dude,
and I tried to explain it.
Go ahead.
No, because I told her, she goes, no, these people love and support you. I said, they'll stab you if it means they can get an inch ahead of you. Like, if somebody tells them, if somebody tells them to stab you in the back so they can get an inch ahead of you, they will. And sure enough, in that time I was gone, she even told me, she goes, yeah, this happened, these people did that. And I'm like, and then even kind of to me, when I was down, I come back to like hearing the wildest shit about me. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, because y'all thought I wasn't coming back. And I'm like, so you're saying I'm gone because of this and that. And I can't, so I made this comeback. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, now everybody's acting all cool and like silent, not talking. Like they're just gonna ignore me. But I'm like, when I was gone, it was all this crazy shit.
Damn,
and
that's weird because the thing about me is I'm a fight, so I'm gonna hit one of these. I'm gonna hit one of these motherfuckers.
So I think this is a PSA to the entertainment industry in San Antonio, because it's important. The reason why we have so many talented people in San Antonio, but we're not known as a major fucking entertainment hub like the people just an hour away from us are. We have all the same opportunities. We have all the same venues. We have more probably because we're a bigger city.
We're the seventh
but
biggest
the
city
reason
in the country.
why is this shit. 100%. Yeah. Why did we get into these comedian Facebook groups? To start pulling comedians in and support them. I'm telling you what, anybody that comes on this fucking podcast, we're trying to build the fucking the comedy scene in San Antonio. We're seeing a niche. We're seeing this fucking thing blowing up in Austin. We're so close in proximity. Yeah. It benefits everybody to put your fucking differences aside, to put your pride aside and put your ego aside and not fucking compare. Comparison is a thief of fucking joy. If you're going to compare yourself to the next person all the fucking time, you're going to be an unjoyful person. You're not going to be fucking happy. You're not going to be successful. The fucking deal is to work together, to cooperate together. That's why we're trying to fucking bring comedians on. We ain't shit of a podcast, but we're going to be because I think we have a good product, right? And so we want to use that. We don't want to. We're not bringing you all on to get exposure. We're bringing you all on to build some unity. That's what we're trying to do because we enjoy fucking laughing. We enjoy comedy. We enjoy being free with our words and being able to just fucking make people lose their fucking breath laughing.
And
losing our
greatest
breath.
feeling, man.
And talking about real shit.
Best.
Like you get like I always look at George
real.
Carlin. Yeah, George Carlin was fucking hilarious, but he was fucking real. Like everything he was saying some real fucking shit. And some of the comedians, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Real shit.
Yes,
And,
but it can't be famine mentality. It can't be if you eat, I'm not eating. Everybody can fucking
But you don't
eat.
think that I think part of that is human nature.
Sure,
Or-
absolutely.
That is.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
it takes a certain maturity and maybe a mental state to say, hey, you know what?
It takes a leader.
There you go.
That's what it takes.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like there's a leader. I think the owner of Upstage might be that guy. I don't know him, but it seems like he's trying to
Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby.
Bobby's great. Bobby,
Okay, see, it seems like Bobby
you know
might
Bobby?
be the guy.
Should we
We
bring
should
Bobby
get him on.
We should. If he'll come on, I would love
He's
to have
actually
Bobby.
he's actually transitioned out. He's now back
He's
performing.
a female now?
No, he's back.
It's Bobby with
He's
the
Whitney
eye.
now?
He dropped the
Bobby
white
with the
eye.
eye.
Now he's Whitney.
But he's now performing a lot now. He owns a comedy club, but he kind of
Yeah.
like took a break from comedy. He's back performing, so he's actually like headlining gigs and
Right.
shit. And I've never seen his stand up, and I've talked to him a bunch of times. Most he's offered me as a guest. He's like, hey, I'd like to have you in a guest spot sometime, but he wanted me on like really fucked up shows.
Is guest
that-
spots bad?
they're good. It's guest spot usually means like 5 minutes. You're like usually an open.
But it depends where you
okay,
believe
okay,
you
okay.
are.
Yeah. You don't get paid for most of
It
the time.
depends where you believe you are, right? As a
Yeah.
comedian.
Yeah.
Because if Bobby offers me a guest spot,
You're like,
I'm like,
fuck
fuck yeah. But you've been in here a year.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
I
you
performed
know where
everywhere
you've
else, and I
been.
was like, okay. And I had been doing his open mics, and
Yeah.
I was like, he's like, and what he never really paid attention to my sets. He goes, I've been talking about you though. He's like, I'd like to give you a guest spot sometime. I was like, I'm like, hell yeah. And he's like, do you have 5 minutes? And I was like, you've never heard my comedy.
But
Bobby."
that's okay.
I was like,
but,
oh,
part-
and I
but
was like,
see,
"You've never
that
heard
part
my
of it is
comedy."
speaking to you too, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to put that ego aside and
I
say,
know.
dude, if I'm fucking Dave Chappelle and you're gonna give me a fucking guest spot, I'm gonna walk in for do a guest spot because I love doing comedy.
But this was back when I was, like I said, I was burning through. I started becoming an asshole and a dick.
Right.
I thought I was the shit because, like
Yeah.
I said, within 3 months of my
Yeah.
first open mic, I performed at Laugh Out Loud Comedy Club at the big stage. And
No,
so
it
I
makes
was like,
sense.
I was like,
Yeah.
fuck all you, because I came there with a chip on my shoulder. I was like, fuck all
Right.
of you. I'm like, all of you wanted this, and I got it in 3. You
Yeah.
know, not that it was it was a great fucking show, but you can tell when you watch the video of all the comedians, you can tell I'm the newest because you can tell I just started, but I got the laughs where I wanted.
Right.
You could just see a little nervousness in me that kind of like when I did karaoke there, I stuttered on a word when I was doing
did.
Dre, and I had same with and I'm like, god damn it,
That's
like,
why I said nope. He's
We're,
not.
we're not cutting that out. We're gonna put it even louder.
No,
so people know.
No, when you leave, I'm gonna record the last verse of Dre.
There could be nobody sitting here
I
just.
just want to say though, you've been a pleasure tonight. You are not a dick.
god damn it. But no, but I did, man. I started
Yes.
becoming an asshole because because it's not that
Dick
I thought
and
I was better
asshole.
than everybody. I just was mad that the people that were dicks to me when I
Right.
first tried to join comedy,
No.
I'm like, fuck you guys. Like, it took you 8 years and you're finally doing this. I'm saying a lot of this because there's
Yeah, no, I hear you, but it's like Rich says, that shit is human nature, right? All of these things are human nature. What a leader kind of helps to do is recenter and say, okay, yeah, you're human nature. You got to fight against that shit because we're building towards something. Man, I just feel like we can't continue to perpetuate this shit because something is blowing up right next door to us.
yeah.
It would be beneficial that this city jumps on board with it.
And it can be its own thing here. That's what's
And
great about San Antonio. It can
yeah.
be its own thing. It doesn't have to be related to Austin. People from Austin come down.
It doesn't, but it can benefit off of it, right?
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it could be a different style, like San Diego and Los Angeles, right? There's another city that's right next to it that they all had their own type of comedy, but they all benefited from Los Angeles being right there as the hub.
Yeah.
Like this is a fucking prime time right now.
I also think they don't have to. Okay, not necessarily. How do I say this? They don't have to just shit on each other.
No.
You know.
Yeah.
Like even if you don't want to support another comedian, just don't fucking shit on him. Don't be like,
Right.
hey, don't bring this guy over here because you want to be a little bitch.
Yeah. You don't
But
you don't
that's all
even
you-
have to support them. I'm not
Yeah.
saying just blindly support people either.
Yeah.
You know?
Because that's the thing about coming together. You don't have to come together.
okay.
Just stay out my fucking way.
But also comedians are real. And we don't, but comedians don't fucking sugarcoat shit. We
Yeah.
joke around. We don't sugarcoat shit.
Yeah.
And so like, if you suck, I'm going to tell you you suck. Right?
And
If your
that's
joke
why
sucks,
you
look at me
I'll
for?
tell you your joke sucks.
But
That's
that's
funny.
fine.
If you're
That's
not
such an
funny, I'm
Orban
going to tell
thing.
you you're not funny.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's sad. And it's bad.